Hello, I'm Gerard Burke, the Director of the Business Growth and Development Programme at Cranfield, or BGP as we call it for short. BGP is the UK's leading programme for ambitious owner-managers, and in 2008 BGP will be 20 years old. We'll also welcome our 1000th participant onto the programme this year. During those 20 years, we've observed 10 characteristics which seem to distinguish those businesses which grow profitably and consistently from those businesses which don't. We call these the 10 steps to profitable growth. In this series of 5 short videos, we'll be looking at each of the 10 steps in turn and hearing from BGP past participants about how they've dealt with the challenges of taking these steps in their businesses. Very few businesses achieve consistent profitable growth. Only about 2% in a recent research study that we did. It's difficult. There'll be many ups and downs. So you have to really want it, passionately.
In terms of passion for the business, it's so important. And now here we are, 10 years on. I think my passion is greater now than it was even in the beginning. And I think that's so important in a business. Unless you have passion for what you want to do and you believe you have the energy, will and determination, then it's very hard to succeed. I think when you start a business, obviously you start with all of that kind of passion you want to win. I think then there's a kind of a bit of a dip if you're not careful. And I think the dip comes from people have dreams that they want to achieve, and then they question themselves about that belief. And essentially what it's all about is believe in yourself. The only barriers in life are the ones you erect yourself. If you believe you can, you can. And if you have a team of people, the sum is greater than the individual parts. And that keeps my passion burning.
I think after so many years of working in the hotel, nearly 20 years, so many of the ideas that I'd had at the beginning had either worked or they hadn't, but they weren't fresh and exciting anymore. And it's really difficult to work for 20 years in the same business without somebody to send you on courses and to motivate you. I don't have an employer to be watching my career for me. And keeping up your own sense of drive and freshness about the job is really difficult. And coming on the BGP, where I was surrounded by new ideas and new influences and the enthusiasm of my colleagues on the course, it's completely reinvigorated me, and I realised how lucky I am to have this great business, which is fun and exciting to work in. And I think my sort of renewed enthusiasm for it has come through and affected the staff, and there's a real buzz about it now.
It takes passion to start a business in the first place, to get it up and running. Arguably, it takes even more passion to grow and sustain a business over a period of years. Keeping that passion burning is fundamental to success. Many owner-managers spend a great deal of their time on operational issues, managing crises, firefighting. They're the hero of their business, who sorts out all of the problems and on whom the business depends. While this is great for the ego, it limits the growth of the business. If the business is to achieve its full potential, the owner-manager needs to make the difficult transition to being a strategist, looking forwards and outwards, planning for the future. To put it another way, to move from working in the business to working on the business.
It was quite hard to realise that I was working in the business so much and not really looking at the whole picture of what the business was about. Because I quite enjoyed working in the business. There were bits of it that I did enjoy. There were too many hats. I had lots of hats, and one day I was wearing one day I was wearing another. But ultimately, I enjoyed some of the bits I was doing. But then I realised that actually the business was suffering because I couldn't get an overview. I couldn't see everything that needed doing. And for me, moving from that kind of being the person who was hands-on to being the person who left it alone was quite hard. Not so much the obvious things, not so much actually the letting go, but the feelings of kind of, well, what do I do? Okay, I'm not doing that particular part of the job now, what should I be doing? And kind of learning how that change had to be managed in myself was probably the hardest thing. Because we can all manage change in other people, but actually managing the change in yourself is very hard.
We were like meddlers, basically. So, we would be sitting next to other architects in our office, sort of going, let's do this, let's do it this way, let's do it this way. And we did this kind of hero, artisan, meddler thing. And it took a while before we really started to become a strategist, but it sort of, at least the concept was, you know, was given to us at BGP. And then 6 months after that, it really started to actually work in practice.
These are just 2 of the 10 steps to profitable growth. To find out more about the other steps, and to find out more about how BGP could help you take more of them in your business, visit our website.